wonderful, amazing community zooming in and tuning in on socials from all over the world in many different time zones. So happy day to you all. Happy 2024. If I haven't seen you yet in this new year, hey there, Margaret and Anna, Lisa, Paige, Sabrina. So happy to see you. Well, it's time. It's time to get going. Let's rub our hands together. This balances out the right and left hemisphere of the brain. It's a new year, new day, new week, and we come together in the Thought Leader Lounge. If this is your first time joining us or watching us, I'm Sara Connell. I have the incredible gift of being a 5-time bestselling author and the founder of Thought Leader Academy, where we help incredible coaches, experts, and entrepreneurs like you become best-selling authors and in-demand speakers so that you can change the world with your movement. So that's what we're up to. And yeah, we only are going about a half hour today. So you're just perfect, Lisa. So happy that you're here. What we do in the lounge every week is we come together so that we can start this each week in a space of empowerment, a space of centeredness, a space of inspiration, a space of more clarity, more creative genius. This gets to be the best week of your life so far. So put yes or an amen or a H yeah for hell yeah. If that is exciting to you, we have that kind of agency to choose every week that this gets to be the greatest week of impact, of fun, of abundance, of contribution. And I'm so thrilled and honored to be here with you all. So we're kicking off the year strong, okay? We're going to do something to start off the lounge today that I want to get some feedback on. So if you're watching on social, you put it in the comments. Those of you here in Zoom, please let me know. Does anyone feel sometimes at the beginning of January like you're already behind? Like suddenly there's this rush of energy and we're supposed to have like everything figured out and our goals and our everyone's already in momentum and you're sort of you feel like that, Sabrina. So just put me in the comments or here in the Zoom room if you have had any feeling in the last week of already feeling a little bit like, oh my gosh, there's a lot expected. There's a lot I want to do. I'm feeling behind in some way. Let me know because I want you to know that you are not alone. And I feel that there's a rushy energy sometimes. I was feeling it over the weekend. And yeah, and I'm going to offer us a contrary action. I'm going to offer us a contrary energy. We're going to get grounded and centered in some spaciousness today and in some your perfect timing. Hey, those of you joining us, so happy you're here. We're talking about this energy that sometimes happens at the beginning of January, which I'm going to call reentry panic syndrome. Okay. It's a cousin of FOMO and it feels like we're already behind. It's like, oh my gosh, like I cannot believe how I was flooded with like organize your year and lose 30 pounds and have, it was like this onslaught energy and just so much coming at us. And I think it's really helpful to step out of that river. Just step out of the river and say, I'm going to step into a river where there's a current of a flow, a beautiful force, but that's at my pace. Okay. So if you've had any reentry panic syndrome to the new year, you're not alone. And we're going to talk about the antidote to that today. And then we're going to talk about the very beginning of the Rise Roadmap, which is what we're using to launch your most impactful, your most successful year ever. We're going to talk a little bit about that today and then continue that as a series for the next few weeks. All right. So that's what we're up to. If you've just joined us, we're talking about reentry panic syndrome, which is whether it's after a holiday, after any kind of vacation break, where it feels like you're already behind. And that is, to me, a non-creative energy. I do not get my best ideas when I feel revved and stressed and hyper and like I need to do 80 things in one day. It's just not a useful energy. So what can we do instead? So first we're going to do the breath. Okay. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Ha. Give your jaw a stretch. Open up your throat, your voice, your authentic power. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Ha. And breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Ah. And go ahead and do 2 more on your own pace. Great job. And now give yourself a scan and see if you feel any differently than you did a few minutes ago. Just from stepping out of the rev, the spin, the sort of swirl of the external world, and letting yourself come into your body, your breath, your power in the now moment. Yeah, Margaret, you're feeling more centered. I do too. So the first step to me is the breath. When I feel the swirl, the rev, I'm already behind, and it's hardly even, if you have kids, maybe they just went back to school today. If you took time off with the holidays, maybe you're just back at your normal desk today. And I do not like the energy where there's this hyper, I'm already behind, right? So I breathe, I'm just gonna step out of that. And then I get myself off of wherever that trigger is coming from. If I've been looking at social media and I'm feeling the rev there, I step off, close that app down for a minute. If it's email, step out of email. If it's just like my own thoughts, do a few more rounds of breath, right? So we first breathe, then let's just detach for a minute and unplug from wherever that stimulus, we don't have to name it like a trigger, but just where's that stimulus of I'm already behind before I even get started. And then the third part to the antidote for me is to, even if I don't believe it fully, tell myself that I'm in the perfect place at the perfect time for my greatest success and my greatest contribution. So someone else already wrote 2 books and launched a course in the first 4 days of the year. Someone messaged me over the weekend. She's like, I already have a 6K month. And I was like, you're even working? Like, what? I was like, I was doing content creation and working on the pod, but I wasn't doing regular work. Right. And so, but there was that, oh my gosh, I had that moment, just to be honest, like, should I have been working less? It's like, no, I was having family time. I was focused and connected to where I felt called to be. So can we trust our own intuition enough that you are right where you're meant to be in the perfect way at the perfect time for your greatest success and contribution right now? Then it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. Then it doesn't matter how much all these things in our inbox are saying, do this, whatever, right? You're on your path. Right? Your path. If you like the words, I think it's fun here. We like to say in Thought Leader Academy, right? Not working on Eastern Standard Time or, we're working on Divine Standard Time. Divine Standard Time, whatever that means for you, right? It's yours. You could call it here, Pages. I see Paige on today. You could like Paige Standard Time. What if you could trust so much? If those of you that are in the Zoom room, and those of you on social, if you can put it in the comments, like, what's good about this? Like, if you really are on Anna's Standard Time, Margaret's Standard Time, Sarah's Standard Time, Carl's Standard Time, Jim's Standard Time, if you're on your perfect timeline, what is good about that in a world that always wants to tell us, because of what calendar day it is, how far along we should be and what should be happening, or how old we are, where we should be and what should be? I mean, that stuff is a recipe for reentry panic syndrome, reentry to, back to a new year or back from a trip or back from a whatever it is. Yeah, you work according to your timeline, no comparison, less pressure. And Carl, you nailed it for me too, and Anna, I am not tuned in, tapped in, turned on when I'm in reaction energy, trying to race to catch up to what? What would I be catching up to? I love the Aboriginal peoples in New Zealand and Australia speak about your songline. Your songline. It's engraved in the palm of your hand. It's encoded in your DNA. It is in your divine destiny. There's no way you could be off your songline unless you choose, right, to live inauthentically. You choose to make other people's goals your goals, or what other people want you to be, how you're showing up. Then we're off our songline. But if we are on our song, and then say, okay, if it's my timeline, And it's not only my real timeline, but it's a great timeline. It's an authentic timeline. It's a divine timeline. It's the perfect timeline for my greatest contribution and success. Then, oh, and it's 11:11. It's just Chicago time right now. So any of you that love angel numbers, 11:11, right as we said this, right? Then at that point, then I am plugged back in. Then I am going to get a good idea for what's next. I am going to know what that next intuitive nudge, I am going to get that, oh, you know what? Call this person. Right? So what I'm offering to everybody as we start, whenever you're watching this, if you're watching it as we're doing it in real time, it's the new year, whatever time it is, whatever season it is, if we walk in the embodiment that we are on our song line, our perfect timeline, everything is lined up for our highest good. There is no racing. There's no being behind. There's no, it's too late. I'm too old. I didn't do it right. I didn't go to the right school, have the right family. No, we're perfect of all of that. Might not have enjoyed it all, right? Very happy to create something new, but it was here for us, part of our songline. So I'm offering us all to rise on our songlines together this year. If you don't have the Rise roadmap, please put Rise in the comments on social or in the chat, and we'll get that to you. If you don't have the Rise roadmap, it is something I spent months working on to put together for you so that you can have your most impactful year, your most expressed year, your most prosperous year. And we're working on that in the Thought Leader Lounge all this month. Okay, so we will get the link to you here in Zoom, and on social, just put Rise in the comments so we can get that to you. All right. So reentry panic syndrome is going bye-bye. Any comparison to what others are doing, anyone else, any external idea of what we think we're supposed to focus on this year gets to go away. It's time to rise in your songline. The book you're here to write, the talk you're here to give, the community you are here to create and lead, the contribution to the world, the big magic that has tapped you. And I don't get those downloads and those hits and those nudges well when I'm in reaction, comparison, rev, I'm behind. Okay, so that's what we wanted to off the lounge with today. We're breathing our way out of reentry panic syndrome and into rising on your authentic songline. I'm so excited about this. We're going to have such a phenomenal year together. Okay. So what we're going to transition into for part 2 today is the start of the roadmap. So again, if you don't have it, grab it in the chat here and put Rise in the comments so we can get it to you. You can always DM me on Instagram as well at Sara Connell, and we'll send it to you there and can support you in going through it. We're going to talk about the very first, it's an overlay to the entire roadmap, which is the number one thing that the people you are here to serve and lead need this year. Okay, I give you 5 in the roadmap, and they all 5 of them, we're going to cover them in the lounge over the next few weeks. All 5 of those important things fall under the umbrella of one word, which is trust. We all know that there's just so much AI and robots pretending they're people and, just repurposed stuff out there with no human connection and not the depth. Not that you can't use AI with heart, you can, right? But what I know what I want is real connection, authenticity, the real deal. It's what I endeavor to be and give from, and what I desire to receive in my, whether it's business relationships, partnerships, mentors, clients, anything in that realm, right? Anytime personal friendships. So what I'm going to offer to you as a homework is get the Rise roadmap, and you can read through the 5 things that we're going to be covering. But I want you to think about how you can create just a little more trust this week with the people you're here to serve. We're going to talk about what some ideas for that can look like. All right. I truly believe, and this is just because of my own experience of a book saving my life 20 something years ago, is that writing your first or next book is going to be one of the most powerful ways you can build trust, because right now people are turning to books more than ever. They want time where it's not like a sales pitch, right? They want time with you and your expertise, your modality, your methodology. They want time with you. And so a book is going, like the book's going to handle trust and all five of the other the pieces that I talk about in the Rise Roadmap. So many of you are already working on your next book. You're well into that process. You're working on your first book. You're thinking about it. If you want to make progress and learn how to hit all five things with your first or next book, then please join us in the new best-selling book bootcamp coming up on January 22nd. It is free. It is our gift to you. Let's put the link, Jill, if we can, for anybody here on Zoom, and then in social, just message the word book. Even if you put Rise, we'll make sure you get that. This is our gift to you. Because yes, you can read the roadmap, but let's be honest, reading a PDF and actually like putting a whole asset together like a trust building high converting book is a very different thing. So I want to train you live on the roadmap and specifically how your book we're going to address the whole boot camp to how your book is going to hit the five things that your people need. Okay. So today in the lounge, what we want to do is think about what are some ways before your book is out or your next book is out, right? In addition to a book that you can build trust. All right. I'll share some ways that I have created trust in relationships and ways I've loved to receive that trust building. And then I want to hear those of you in Zoom, you can put in the chat, what are ways that you've received trust building? I think that authentic storytelling, right? When someone shares real things that they're going through or that they've been through, experiences that they've had is a very powerful way to build trust. It's like someone letting you in their world, whether that's on a video, whether it's on an Instagram live, whether it's in a masterclass, whether it's in a, conversation in person. I think that sharing real experiences and having the vulnerability to do so is a really powerful trust builder. That's why we put so many stories into books that we write. That's why we, so very different than if we are just, what do I want to call it? Like giving some data, giving some how-to content is really powerful. I think teaching generously is wonderful. Obviously, I do it all the time. But some of you were on our Rise Your Year masterclass last Thursday, right? It was so fun and incredible to be with you. And one of the things I shared that I didn't particularly want to honestly share was how I had an upper limit reaction to creating my vision board and setting some new goals and really stepping into my rise. And that I had some internal, self-doubt, imposter syndrome stuff come up. I had external, like I hit my head, it's healed pretty well now. And so, yeah, Martha, we're not working on any particular page in the roadmap. Everybody's homework today is to get the roadmap, get the Rise roadmap. And then I'm giving an overview of this trust building piece. And then we'll start working through the actual roadmap together. Yep. So understood if you're like, where are we? Today's the overview. Okay. Because not everyone had their copy yet. All right. So trust what I know. I shared that story about the imposter syndrome and feeling like this just really negative energy and vulnerability and insecurity and doubt, and then hitting my head and cutting my head open. And I got a lot of messages. Now, some of you might have been annoyed, didn't like that story. That's okay. But a lot of people actually messaged and said, I'm grateful that you're a real person that has crap come up when you try to step into a next level. That is, I'm not just going, oh, we rise, love and light. It's all a cakewalk. No, like this shit's real. Right? It's intense sometimes to step into a new vision. There's an identity shift. There's a shake. Everything unlike the new vision is going to burn off. And sometimes that feels amazing and liberating, like, woo, Leonardo on the boat, king of the world. And then sometimes it feels like almost like you have an emotional flu, an energetic cold. You're like, I don't feel good. And what I wanted, the reason I shared that was so I didn't want anybody who's training with us this year to walk themselves back from a vision because it starts to not feel good and all that stuff comes up. Yeah, you got crabby for 2 days after it, Courtney. That's right. It can happen. Just crankiness, irritability, restless. That is classic ascension symptom. Classic symptom on the rise, right? So we want to normalize this. We don't want to project it and plan for it and call it in or anything, right? But we don't want to take that as a sign that something's wrong or we shouldn't go for this thing, or it's a sign of something very, very right. And it is very temporary. Okay. So storytelling about the real stuff that goes on, as well as the, yeah, Margaret, you felt it too. Yeah. It's actually such an affirmation that you're all playing really big this year. It's phenomenal, but it just feels like not good in the moment. Now you're going to move through into feeling amazing because, when that all burns off, it's like you're cleared out, right? It feels really, really good. And you're okay. Building. Trust building is certainly giving generously some strategies so people can learn. I have people all the time say, oh, I don't want to put all my best stuff in my book or in my talk because then people won't need to coach with me. I disagree. I put everything good in my stuff. I'll come in here on the lounge and give you anything good I think could help you, that has helped me. I'm going to share it with you. The minute I figure something out that's working, I'm going to share it because I want you to win and I want to rise with you. And I want to know that there's a lot more to do. So if we're meant to work together, we will. Right. And so getting people with generously sharing strategies that are going to help someone with a goal, overcome a problem or a challenge is going to build trust. Storytelling about really what your experience is like builds trust. Right? Showing up consistently is the third one I want to cover today. We don't want to do too many. We're just doing 3. This is an overarching before we start the full roadmap. All right. Overarching is having a way to, oh, Lisa, I just read some of the comments. I momentarily let the gremlins whisper, I'm not an author, and politely dismiss them. Well, that's nice. As you say, with love, no, thank you. I'm going to return that message to sender. I love that, Lisa. Thank you for sharing that because you're not alone, right? Who do you think you are? That's a version of imposter syndrome. Yeah. So again, what we're talking about here today is how we build trust. We can share authentically our own real experiences and not some fake book. I have it all together. Everything's perfect all the time. We can be real with people, both about triumphs and challenges. We can, that's the storytelling. We can give generous strategies to help people overcome a problem, achieve a goal, have a win. Right? Who heard the third one? I'm going to do a pop quiz in the chat. What's the third way we're playing with this week that can build trust? We didn't really get into explaining it yet. It's consistency. Okay. The third key way is you are showing up for your people, even if you don't know them yet. There's that Michael Bublé song, like, just haven't met you yet, right? He's talking about like, it's a little cute romantic song. Haven't met you yet. But I'm going to be here every week. I don't have an audience for the new podcast yet. I hope you all love it. It's debuting later this month, right? But that's a new thing. It's a new thing. It'll be on platforms where no one's heard of me, whatever. But I'm going to show up and have those episodes with as much value as I can bring, with as much fun, with as much inspiration. And I'm going to bring it and be consistent. So if you're doing a podcast, it's, what day of the week. You guys know they've been on my email list for like 10 years. Every Monday you get the vlog, which now we have the lounge, kind of built into that. You get it, so start with something where you're going to be consistent. You're going to post every day on Instagram. You pick a platform. You don't have to be on every platform. I know people are like, you got to be on TikTok and do this. I was like, I don't, one thing at a time. Then you build. So where can you be more consistent? This week, the focus, the invitation is first, going to watch part 1 of this and get out of any comparison, reentry panic syndrome. Step onto your songline, your rise. And you know what? We'll call it here. Just decided we're going to call it your rise line. Okay. Because that's about your destiny and also your rise. All right. So that's coming to me in this moment and I'm getting excited. So your rise line. All right. You're going to step onto your rise line, your timetable for your rise. And then what are the ways you can build some extra trust? Not all 3 of these. Is there somewhere you can be consistent every day? Like I'm going to be going live every day on Instagram because that's the place where I like to do those lives and doing some behind the scenes, getting ready for the new boot camp because the boot camp's different every time, right? Our book boot camp is not the same. We change it every time so that it's relevant. This version in January of the boot camp is about how your book gets to do the 5 things that your people need this year so that you can rise and they can rise. All right. It's the Rise version. So yeah, Margaret, you show up on social media with your Mindful Monday posts. Sometimes it's a video. Beautiful. Like you have named it. It's Mindful Monday. So Margaret knows she's showing up on Monday. So I want to hear those of you in Zoom, put it in the chat, and then those of you on social, put in the comments, which one of these 3 ways to build trust do you want to focus on this week? More storytelling, just authentic sharing of your triumphs and your challenges, and not in a like when you're in the middle of a mess and you haven't figured it out, but like in a, hey, this came up. I didn't go on right after I gashed my head and be like, I just had a big funny upper limit. I could have, but so is it about storytelling and being authentic and intimate? Is it about generously sharing ways that your people can get a win? Or is it consistency somewhere? Is there somewhere you've been a little in and out? I was really in and out on social media the last few years. I'm all in now. I'm consistent. Okay, so consistency, more sharing on Instagram. I love this. I love it. It's amazing. So let's take a breath into your rise line. Breathing in and breathing out. Rise line is your authentic destiny, right? What the Aboriginal peoples call your song line, meeting the rise that you're here, your next level for this year. Yeah, Sadi, you're talking about how to post effectively. We'll come to the boot camp. I think you're already signed up. I think you said that you're coming, which I'm so excited to have that week with you. If you are not signed up for the boot camp, get in there. If you're creating any content this year of any kind, be in the boot camp. All right. It's free. We'll put the link again here. We'll put it on social. Please be sure. If you're on social, just put the word rise in the comments and we'll make sure to get you the roadmap and the boot camp link. Okay. You want to be there so that we can apply the current research about what people need from their leaders, their thought leaders, their authors, their experts this year to your content, whether it's a book project or any other project you want to work on. And so we'll be talking about posting effectively. It's not specifically on social media, but it will all apply. Martha, you're going to focus on more storytelling in your book and have plans to start social media in the spring. Love it. Phenomenal. Yeah. Yeah. Martha has just been taking massive action. It's amazing. Okay. So what did you hear today that is useful to you? Put in the comments or the chat here what you're taking away with you. Is it the conversation about trust and 3 ways you can build trust? Is it about getting off of comparison and reaction energy at the beginning of the year and getting on your rise line? Yeah. So good. I love starting Mondays with you all. It's so powerful. And then just give yourself a scan. As you breathe into your rise line, your rise for this year, do you feel more energized? Do you feel more excited? Do you feel more motivated? I do from being with you. I definitely do. Yeah, I know. When we made up a new word, it's so fun. Yes. And if you missed the beginning of this, right, just make sure you are on our email list. And if you're not, you'll get added to it just by getting the Rise roadmap, and then you'll get the recordings of these as well. Okay. All right. So you all are doing tremendous work. Yeah, you're in the perfect place at the perfect time for your greatest success and impact this year. That's the mantra I want us all to run this week. When you see all the stuff, everyone do this, do the boot camp, do my thing. Just deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Unplug from the stimulus for just a moment. Get back on your rise line. And then decide intuitively from that tuned in, tapped in, turned on place, what's your next action? All right. You can use the roadmap for that inspiration of the action that's there to serve your intuition. Awesome. You all are amazing. I'm so excited that we have started off this week and this year together. Watch your inbox for the podcast when it'll be coming out soon. And also just make sure to get your homework. Remember, is to get the Rise roadmap, get signed up for the boot camp so that we can do very, very, very powerful work in January. We're going to do more in this month than you might have done in the first 6 months of last year, because we've got the roadmap and we get to do it in community. All right. Amazing work, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.